Okay, good morning, everybody. Uh, to the participants at all the centers. In this session, we are going to discuss about the research tools. Whenever any piece of research is conducted, you need certain tools to collect information. So with them we call as the measuring instruments. Now for pure sciences or engineering, they may be in the form of equipments, or in say if I go to the computer, or in even in the other disciplines also, you may be having softwares also. So in this session we will just see the meaning, what we mean by this. So it is any device used to quantify and record information. There can be these tests are more for, I would say, technical education and social sciences and management, these standardized instruments. Now these standardized instruments are good to use for conducting any research, because they will be giving you valid and reliable results, which is very important for the research purposes. Now why I'm saying they are going giving you the valid results. Valid means the instrument is measuring what it intends to measure, and the standardized instruments, in their process of development, such aspects are taken care of to ensure validity and reliability. Now, these tests can be achievement tests, these tests can be aptitude tests, ability tests, and number of, say, personality tests, maybe sociability, extroversion, leadership, like that. There can be number of personality tests which are there. Even for emotional intelligence, emotional maturity, for all these the tests are standardized instruments are available. Then if the researcher has such variable for which standardized instruments are not either not available, or they do not fulfill the criteria which he is thinking of, maybe there is a culture bias, so he is not able to use. In such type of instances, researcher has to develop the instruments himself or herself, and these can be in the form of questionnaires, interview schedules, observation schedule, attitude scale, and there can be teacher made achievement tests also. So when we were saying that there will be, through the use of ICT tools, the students will learn more or achieve more. Now in that case, say I am taking 3 chapters, say from the chemistry area. When I am teaching those 3, there may not be any standardized test available in the market. So as a researcher or a teacher will develop that achievement test himself or herself. Now when we are developing any of these instruments, maybe questionnaire, maybe interview schedule, attitude scale, or teacher made achievement test, we have to look into the same aspects, that is the validity and reliability of the instruments. There are certain steps which are to be followed to ensure validity of any measuring instruments. So this was just the broader view of that. I will be restricting only to the questionnaire. So questionnaire is just that is a written instrument that contains number of questions to which the sample included in your study, they have to respond to those questions. And it can be completed independently by one individual, or the researcher, if goes to the place and asks, say, group, asks the class to respond to the things, then in a group way also it can be answered. But in any case, they respond, it will be responded by the individual person for his own questionnaire. Then these can be mailed or personally distributed. I just said that if the researcher can go personally to the site where where the respondents are there, or the questionnaires can be mailed also. Nowadays, even through email or by there are Google is there to conduct for certain site type of surveys also. Uh, then they are good for geographically wide sample. If your sample is scattered at different places, then this questionnaire, this tool can be used very effectively. You can mail them, distribute in the classes, in the meetings, everywhere, and from any by any means you can collect the information using the questionnaire. There we have to follow certain steps in designing questionnaire so that it gives us valid and reliable results. Let us just see what type of steps we are to follow. First is that look into the purpose or objectives of the questionnaire. Why you are using the questionnaire? Say you have a research problem and there are a number of objectives. All the objectives may not require questionnaire. There may be some 2 or 3 objectives which require questionnaire, others may need certain other things also. So you have to see for which of the research questions you are to design a questionnaire, be clear about it. Then decide population and sample. Before writing questions, you should be clear for which sample, for which population you are developing, you are designing the questionnaire. Why this is important? Because you must know the personal details from whom you are taking the data, their age level, their background. This type of information is very important. Say if the if the questionnaire is related to certain software, right? So whether the people who are using it, they are just the users of that software or they have the technical background also. So that will also change the quality of the questions in your the nature of the questions in your questionnaire. Generate the research questions, issues to be addressed, and data required to meet those objectives. So then we start writing the criteria questions. First we write the criterion questions, then we move to the questionnaire items. Now for each questionnaire criterion question, you may have number of questions in your questionnaire. Just I'm showing you the flow diagram of this. Say you have the purpose. Based on the purpose, there may not be a single research question. I think these things have been discussed, so I won't go into this. Say you have the broader purpose of the study, broader objective of the study. Then underlying there are certain research questions, objectives are there. From that, each research question may require different set of criterion questions. And for each criterion question, you may have 1, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. How many questions are required for each criterion question will depend upon the complexity of that criterion question. If it is of very simple type, there may be only 1, 2 questions, and that too of yes, no type. And if it is some complex type of criterion question or research question is there, you may need number of question items for getting the information about that criterion question. And now once the questions are written for each of the criterion questions, the questionnaire items are finally reached. I will like to show you this through the example. Say there is a study on effect of civil engineering softwares on the performance of professionals and engineers. Now, objective of this study was taken by this study has been submitted somewhere. I'm just taking the example to explain this my point. Now, objectives are say to study the acceptability of structural design software, to study the effect of design of software on office work culture, to study training requirements for operation of design software, to study the effectiveness of software as problem-solving tool, to study the problems encountered while working with the structural software. Now, I am taking these to study the training requirements as the example. Now, before going to that, let's just take what type of sample they have taken. Now, what type of things? I think about the sampling technique, Dr. Sunil Dutt has elaborated different things. Now, what they have written in this study, what they have written, top 50 design consultants of Chandigarh and Delhi. Now, the researcher must be clear what we mean by this top. How would you define this top? So, this type of words should not be used, or if you are using them, explain whom you will call as the top 50 design consultants. Then they have taken the teaching institutes, maybe IIT Delhi, they have included Delhi College of Engineering, Peck University Technology, NITR. Then they have taken 50 students of BTech Civil and 25 students of MTech students also are taken. So then they have included 20 teachers, among them 5 professors, 5 associate professors, 10 assistant professors of civil engineering department. Clients they have taken from each of the category. Now, if you see, look to the objectives, nowhere you are comparing the things, whether the teachers are good in using those softwares or the professionals are using it in a better way. Why this type of thing is taken, that should be clear to the researcher. Now, the question which was asked, which software are you using? Here there are different things. Are you going to study also the popularity of any software? Do you want to compare the relevance or the problems faced in that, or the popularity of the software? So that has not come in any of the objectives. But in any case, okay, it means irrespective of which software is used, you just want to know what type of problems are faced in any. And you see another the objective, one of the objective was to study training requirements for operation of design software. Now you see the wording is training requirement, and the question which is coming, is any staff training required for use of the software? Yes or no? Now why it is required? Like, that is not requirement, is related to other aspects, but he is asking where was the training available, not the requirement. Then was you happy about the content and the standard of the training program? Now the word happy is questionable. What you mean by happy? Happy about which thing? Content, there are other things also, its operation is there, right? A practice is given is there, right? Those aspects are missing. Point is, for studying particular objective, there should have been enough number of questions which can definitely say that, okay, you have studied that objective. And moreover, you will see the questions are coming in the form of yes or no only. So the other aspects regarding the requirement or difficulties in training phase like that, that should have also been included in the questionnaire. To study the effectiveness of software as problem solving tool. Is the software applicable to all problem cases you undertake? You can ask for yes or no. You can ask for different, the ask from them, it may be open-ended question, what type of problems they are facing and where that has worked well, right? Have you found any in-house solution to them? So if in-house solution is them, why, how it is related with your this effectiveness of that software problem? Then or you may add one objective, that what type of problems can be solved with which type of software, which can be solved, even the in-house solutions are there. So, or they can have another objective, the nature of recommendations or suggestions for in-house solutions for use of such softwares. So taking care, this was just an example. Then once we have written all the criterion has been addressed, you have to check that, okay, that's why I have shown this example. You have to see after designing that everything is included in your questionnaire to answer the related criterion questions, the related objectives or research questions, whatsoever it is. Then write the instructions, how they are to respond, whether they are to tick mark or they have to give the responses, such type of instructions should be there. And in the instructions, it's very important, confidentiality. Number of times the people do not want to share their identity, right? So you are to include such type of things in the instructions. Then the questionnaire, these two aspects later in detail we will be discussing towards the end of the session also. Writing instruction, then pilot the questionnaire and refine items. Questionnaire, when I talked about the any research instrument, any questionnaire, anything which we are using, tool, instrument we are using for the research purposes, that must be tested for its validity, giving valid results and giving us the reliable results. So if we do not go for the pilot testing of the questionnaire, then it may not give you the results which you want from that. When I am going to the designing of questions for the questionnaire, I will give you number of examples wherein you will see that the thing which you had in mind, it's not tested by the given question. So this requires, once you have written, you must get for a pilot checking whether the items which are written, they are okay, and if they are not okay, you have to refine them, modify them. Then yeah, the final questionnaire is now ready with you. So the decisions about the question content must see, is the question necessary? Number of times it happens, researcher when starts making the question, okay, let me ask this thing also, let me ask this thing also, let me ask this thing also. And he includes such a long list of questions that the questionnaire becomes so heavy that when it reaches the respondent is not ready to respond to long list of questions. So researcher must be clear, if the question is really desired, then only include it. But at the same time, if you require more questions for reaching at that objective, then you are to include it. So the researcher must see at the very first stage that the questions really are needed, that the particular question is really needed to have answer to particular research question. 10. Do respondents have the information necessary to answer the question? Now, maybe even in the smartphones, we are using clouds. But as a normal user, the user doesn't know what is cloud. And if you start asking the normal person, say a business person or any other person for that matter, who is not IT professional, who is not knowledgeable about the subject computer science and all that, and you start asking, do you know about this cloud, what type of cloud is used, and all that, those things. So don't ask such questions. If the person has the background, then only such questions should be included. Then, does the question need to be more concrete, specific, closely related to the respondent's personal experience? That's why right in the beginning we said, when designing a questionnaire, you should have the idea of the nature of the population, nature of the sample you have. Right? That will also check the wording you are using for questionnaire, the content you are including for the questionnaire items. There may be objectives or criterion questions where you need several questions to answer that question. Let's see how. You just see the example. Are several questions needed on the subject matter of this question? Say question was, my examples will be mixed ones. How satisfied are you with this product? Now the product may be anything, maybe car, maybe mixie, maybe TV, anything. Now when I say how satisfied are you with this product, I name this product. Now this is not a right way of asking the question. It can be splitted into number of questions. Say, I enjoy using this product. Strongly agree, disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree, or I have not used this product. It may happen I have not used this product. How can I react on that? This product meets my needs. I would purchase from this company again because this company has satisfied my thing. Now, when I am saying I am conveying to you, this respondent is conveying to you that the respondent is really satisfied with this product. So asking too broad a question may not give you that answer which you have in your mind. So, and for such type of situations, you are to write number of sub questions to have the real meaning, real information about that objective. Now, what type of questions generally we have in questionnaires? One are classified as the closed-ended questions. These questions provide respondents with a list of responses from which to select the answer. Now, there can be multiple choices for the respondent to accept or reject. He can select any. There can be two-way forced type of. The most common is when you ask for yes or no, right? Do you always wake up before 8 a.m.? Yes or no? And you will see at certain instances, you are not, means you don't require information beyond going whether it is there or not. So there we go up to yes or no. But you will see at number of instances, you require the level of usage, the degree of usage, right? Extent of satisfaction. So there, these forced choice, two-way will not suffice your purpose. So there can be ranked. A respondent must place items in order of certain value. They come in the ordinal scale. So there can be that type of questions also. Here is an example of closed-ended question. Say, what is your opinion are the qualities of a good administrator? Able to make decisions, fast decision maker, able to listen, impartial, skilled in interpersonal communication. So it's a close. You have not given any choice कि वो अपना कुछ बोले, अपना कुछ लिखे. No, you have forced that person that select the things. Now in open-ended questions, we do not give this type of choice. So this subject, we give freedom to the student, to the respondent, to answer the question in their own words without any pre-specified alternatives. Open-ended questions, they do not provide with any answer from which to select. कोई choice नहीं दी जाती है. Now, the same closed question which I had shown earlier, I am giving it as the open-ended question. What, in your opinion, are the qualities of a good administrator? There I had listed for, let me just show you again. Here I have, in the same question, I have given the choices, but when I am asking the same question as an open-ended question, I am not giving the choice for that. So that is actually the difference between two. Now, there are certain advantages of open-ended questions. In the open-ended question, the respondent is not forced to select the choices, right? So he is free to answer what he has in mind. And it may better reflect what the respondent believes or thinks about that product or the quality. And these are appropriate when list of possible answers may be too much. So the researcher just cannot list them in the questionnaire. Let respondent tell the researcher what he means, and it should not be forced by the researcher that select out of given choices. Now I come to the certain disadvantages. Now here I will like to know from you people what type of disadvantages you foresee in open-ended questions. So for that matter, let me request Kite Group of Institutions, Ghaziabad. Any participant from Ghaziabad? Yes. Over to Ghaziabad. Yes, ma'am. Yes. What is your view?
What are the disadvantages of open-ended questions?
Open-ended questions.
Ma'am, the main disadvantage is that if we are not providing the closed-ended questions, then there will be multiple choices among the persons who are filling the questionnaire. So we can't identify the limits of our research work.
Very good. Very good. Very good. But may I know your name?
Also.
नाम क्या बताया बेटे?
Dr. Pateja.
Dr. Fateh.
Yes.
She earlier also responded, I think. I know.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, any other from this center?
Good morning, ma'am. I'm from Gandhi Engineering College.
हाँ जी सर, गांधी इंस्टीट्यूट से बोलिएगा सर.
Regarding open-ended questions, some disadvantage should be the proper information may not be we got it, because if we are trying to get the answer from open-ended, so there may not be saying someone to be clearly. Means clarity is may not be one type of obstacles.
Very good. Clarity may not be there because respondent may not be that knowledgeable to respond in a right type of language. So
Yes,
the
ma'am.
researcher may have to reinterpret it, and that perception may have a difference of opinion regarding that.
Ma'am,
Very
yes.
rightly said, sir. May I know your name, sir?
संतोष कुमार सतपथी.
अच्छा जी, डॉक्टर संतोषी बोल रहे हैं. ओके, थैंक यू सर.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let me go to the MS University Baroda. MS University Baroda. Yes, sir. Anybody, Dr. Viral Kapadia, anybody from your center will like to say something?
A lot of variances in the answer. Quantization would be difficult.
Okay, quantization will be
Difficult. So comparing the answers may be different languages, not to the expectation.
Not to the expectation. Very good, very good. Thank you, sir.
This is from Kai. One sir wants to ask one more question. I want to tell one more reason of open-ended question. Just a minute.
Yes, madam. Sorry, I could not get you. क्या कहा आपने? पता चल गया कि आप काइट से बोल रहे हैं, पर हमें एग्जैक्ट क्या बोला आपने पता नहीं चल रहा है.
My answer is that the open-ended question, the answer may not be appropriate for the question. There are some variations.
आप थोड़ा स्क्रीन के आगे आ जाएं. माइक के सामने बोलिएगा थोड़ा, तब सुनाई देगा बेटर. ये मैडम डॉक्टर फटेजा का हमें पूरा सुनाई दिया था, तो आपका भी सेम सेंटर है, सुनना चाहिए हमें. हाँ जी सर, बताइएगा.
Answer is that these open-ended questions may not be totally appropriate for that question. The answer may not be. It can be deviating from the question.
They are appropriate for the
Appropriate for the question, because you were saying open-ended question. So any people can answer or right answer according to his or her researches. So it can deviate from a little bit from that question. The clarity should not be there.
Okay, the things may not be clear from that, you want to say.
There should be some deviation can be there.
Okay, thank you ji, thank you. So you have rightly come up with number of things. Here it may happen that respondent may say too much or too little, provide incomplete or unintelligible answers. In layman language, he may reply, and so it may become difficult for you to transfer that type of information for your research purposes. Then flexibility in responses becomes difficult to code and analyze, because you have a long list, and coding or some way of putting it together, it may not be then feasible, because everybody is coming with different type of name for maybe for a same or different categories of things. Then interpretations of answers may vary, so you have to be careful for the open-ended questions. There may be too much variance in response, and so it becomes difficult for the researcher to put the things in a comprehensive way, right? So that's why too much use of open-ended questions in a questionnaire is not desirable, because from the researcher point of view, the things become very difficult. These are expensive and time consuming, because it will need lot of researchers' time to record them, to put them in certain categories like that, code them. So that's why they become very expensive. They have become very time consuming. Now we start writing the questions, and when you are writing the questions, there are certain things which the researcher should take care. Now there are certain wordings which should be avoided, like double barreled questions, means where two types of things, two informations are asked in a one question. Let me show you some of the examples. Is your doctor friendly and reasonably priced? You see the other? Does the algorithm provide consistent and valid results? Do you believe the training program was a good one and effective in teaching you new skills? Now, what you see in all these three questions, is there any commonality? Yes, anybody from any center? What is the problem with these questions? These questions I have seen at number of places. These are written like this. Questions are written like this. What is the problem? Anybody from any center?
Ma'am.
Yes.
Regarding the training program, if we adopt for any new skill, then it's a better, because when we are having survey or when we are having research part, we need some new tools. We need to use it. In meantime, we need some training program. So the
Okay.
training program was good.
My question is, there is some common problem in these three questions which I have given you. Say, okay, you come to you may analyze the third one. That is, you say,
Yes.
if you believe the training program was a good one and effective in teaching you new skills.
Okay.
The researcher has written yes or no. Now, what is the problem if the researcher is writing like that? Yes or no? The respondent has to respond like that. Now, what is the problem with that? That part is okay, that you are seeing that we in training program we must go for seeing effectiveness for teaching of new skills. That part is okay. But my point is, in these questions, same type of drawback is there. What is that?
Hello, madam.
Yes.
There are two questions actually in that.
Very right.
And answer to one may be yes, answer to another may be no.
Very right. Very right. When you say, when the respondent says, do you believe the training program was good one and effective? So I say it is good. अच्छा खाने पीने को मिल गया, बैठने को मिल गया, बातचीत हो गई. So it was a good thing for me, right? But was it effective? Has it really brought any change in you? किस चीज से आप एग्री कर गए? तो वो आपको पता नहीं चलेगा. डॉक्टर फ्रेंडली तो है, पर रीजनेबली प्राइस तो नहीं है वो. अब आप उसको क्या कहोगे? हो सकता है एक रिसर्चर के माइंड में, एक रिस्पोंडेंट के माइंड में आए, चलो इन दोनों में से एक से एग्री करते हैं तो यस कर देते हैं. दूसरा रिस्पोंडेंट सोचे चलो एक से एग्री करते हैं तो नो कर देते हैं. Now how the researcher will judge what exactly is the respondent is responding, what is the thing it is keeping in mind. So when you say you have any product, maybe pen, maybe any item in the market, you say how would you rate the product in terms of its package and design. Right now again there are two things, package and design. Now if you say I am highly satisfied. Now when you say there is a scale also, highly satisfied, not much satisfied, totally not satisfied. Now when the response comes, how would you say that for which part of this question the person is satisfied? Right? That thing is not clear. Instead, it should have been, how would you rate the package of the product? For that, then the scale is there. Then, how would you rate the design of the product? Then again, the thing is there. Now, what we have done here, we have splitted the question into two parts. That is what is required. Avoid ambiguous question. Now, because they could be interpreted differently from way that is intended. say, I am giving you certain questions, and I will ask you why these are ambiguous questions. What is your income? I say, how many computers do you have in the college? Why these things, why these items, I am saying they are ambiguous. Let me again hear from you. इनको कह दो वो चले गए हैं, वो है नहीं,
Hello, ma'am, from Light.
Yes, ma'am.
This is an ambiguous question because, if we are talking to different kind of people with different salary group, and it can be a big interval, it can be. So until and unless we provide some limits of the income, it can't fulfill our requirements.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I would like to hear from Kodia Institute of Business Management. Kodia Institute of Business Management. I was expecting something from you. Madam, आप का ग्रुप, आपने क्वेश्चन सुना है? Kodia Group of Institutions. What is the answer here? How many faculty from your institution is participating? Dr. Radha Kamal, is she there? Dr. Radha Kamal, is she there? Okay.
Actually, ma'am, Dr. Radha ma'am is busy in meeting right now. Actually.
Okay, okay. आप कितने लोग participate कर रहे हैं?
Ma'am, there are 15 members here.
15 members.
Yes.
Okay. Have you got my question? I was audible to you? Was I raised some question? I think your center has.
Actually, we need some time. Actually.
Okay. I will get back to you then. Okay. Let me now come to Chaudhary Devilal, State Institute of Engineering and Technology. Yes, sir. How many participants are participating? Sir, how many? How many? 24. दिखाई तो दे नहीं रहे हमें 24 दिखाई नहीं दे रहे हैं. नहीं, ऐसे है, आप जितने लोग अटेंड कर सकते हैं आप उनको ही रजिस्टर करें प्लीज. प्लीज जो हमें आप फाइनल देंगे हमें 24 का मत दीजिएगा. 2 लोग अटेंड करते हैं सभी सेशंस, प्लीज वो ही उन्हीं के ही नाम हमें दे बाद में. ओके, लेट मी कम टू द क्वेश्चन. व्हाट आर योर व्यू अबाउट दिस सिचुएशन? Why these questions are ambiguous?
Suppose ask these questions. I think it is not possible all the time to remember the exact figure.
Sorry sir, आप
अरे ये जो आप माइक यूज कर रहे हैं इसको बंद कर दीजिए. जस्ट सिंपल ऐसे बात कीजिए, हम ऑडिबल रहेंगे.
आप ये माइक बंद कर दो. ये वाला माइक से डिस्टरबेंस ज्यादा है. आप वैसे ही बात करें, हमें सुनाई देगी आपकी आवाज.
सिंपल बस इस माइक को बंद कर दीजिए, जस्ट वैसे ही बात कीजिए.
Are we audible, sir?
हाँ, audible, yes.
कर रहे हैं ना. हाँ जी sir. Any comment on that? Or I move to the next center. RTU quota. Okay.
Hello.
हाँ जी.
Ma'am, the questions are ambiguous because of when we survey on these questions generally, there may not be proper information from the clients.
Okay. Why? That's what I asked.
Because of income, if what is your income, so that income should be very on regarding their position, regarding their experiences, regarding their qualification. So we may not be sure about to get the proper information, and sometimes it should be ambiguous because though that information to be distributed, and we are not getting the proper information.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. May I know your name?
Sir, Santosh ma'am.
अच्छा जी.
Hello, madam.
हाँ जी, जलंधर सिटी ग्रुप ऑफ कॉलेजेस. हाँ जी सर, बताइएगा. मैडम बताएं. मैडम यू आर नॉट ऑडिबल. शायद आपका माइक बंद है.
मैम थोड़ा सिस्टम के पास आ जाएं.
नहीं, माइक तो पकड़ा हुआ है इन्होंने. अच्छा,
नहीं मैम,
माइक नहीं वर्क. अच्छा, माइक नहीं वर्क.
यस मैम.
हाँ जी मैडम, आप बोलिएगा.
हेलो. हाँ जी मैम, अब ऑडिबल है मैम?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल, बहुत अच्छे से.
हाँ जी मैम. The question is, what is your income? So we are not clear whether we are asking monthly income or yearly. So these kind of questions are ambiguous. We should be very clear as far as we are asking the questions from the respondents.
Okay, good. Thank you. So, rightly said. Here, when you say what is your income, it's not clear whether you are asking annually, total, from all sources, what type of income you are asking. So it's not that the which profession the person is, which qualification the person is having, but person may be having the income from various sources. So what type of income you are asking to the individual. Then if I go to the likewise in the same type of ambiguity is there in the second question also, that is how many computers do you have in the college. Now it may be in the laboratories only, maybe with the non-teaching staff also. So what type of things you are asking. Then make sure that the question is directly relevant to the hypothesis. Now I am giving you another situation. Say hypothesis is women are more likely to get out of a traffic stop by a police officer than men. Now the question asked was, have you ever been not issued a traffic violation when wrong after being stopped by a police officer? That when you are wrong and you were stopped, so were you ever issued the challan also? So that the question is asked to test this hypothesis. Now the person made the prediction that women are more likely to be let off due to their persuasiveness and leniency of the officers to women. So the hypothesis is accepted. Now my question is, what is wrong in this question? This question is not testing hypothesis properly, but the researcher has made that thing. Now, what is the wrong thing which you see in this question? I think question is visible at your screen, or may I read it again? Visible?
Yes,
yes, anybody from any center? When the hypothesis is women are more likely to get out of a traffic stop by a police officer than men. Okay, Jalandhar, यहाँ से लगता है कोई respond करने वाला है. Anybody?
Like when we made a statement like I predict, we can't use the statements like I predict in the case of hypothesis.
Okay, I leave that. My point is, I say hypothesis is accepted. My question is this question. What is wrong in this question? Because in this. That is not allowing me to accept the hypothesis. The information which will come from this will not ensure me that the hypothesis can be accepted.
The question when wrong.
The question is written. What is wrong with the question? Have you ever been not issued a traffic violation when wrong after being stopped by a police officer?
Issued a traffic violation when wrong after being stopped by a police officer.
Because it is required how many times the person was stopped.
Yes.
I am not having that information. So this thing, totality doesn't, from the totality we can't infer that why this is not. Now, it should have come like this. How many times have you been stopped for traffic violations when you thought you had been actually broken the law? Right? Then comes how many times the individual was stopped for this.
Yeah,
how many situations of these traffic violations, or how many times are you issued a challan? Right? If say the person is stopped 10 times and you say कि up to 3 times okay, I was given the challan, then you can say okay 10 बार रोका है पर challan 3 बार ही कटा है. But वो जो question है वो दोनों out of how many times it happened, वो चीज वहाँ पे नहीं पूछी गई है. So that's why that answer to that type of question will not confirm whether the hypothesis will be accepted or not. Then keep your question wording short. Now you see in this question, when you encounter a software problem and you don't know how to go about it, do you usually call customer support to solve the issue? अब ये एक छोटी सी बात को कि जब प्रॉब्लम आती है you consult the customer support or not, इतनी सी बात थी, but the so many long wording, इसी में ही respondent जो है that will be confused. To the point question होना चाहिए. It should be like, do you call customer support in case you need assistance with the software? That's it. उस wording को unnecessary जब आप बड़ा lengthy करते हैं, linger on करते हैं, it may happen that it loses its purpose also. Another question you see, how old are you? Now this I think you will be able to find out what is the problem. It's very clear now. How old are you? 50 to 20 years, 20 to 30 years, 30 to 40 years, 40 to 50 or 50 to 60. I think this you should be able to do. Anybody from any center. It's very straightforward.
I think the gap is in first case it's 5.
Yes. So the lower limits are overlapping.
Overlapping.
Right. So जब 15, everybody will like to be in the younger group. So 15 to 20 select करेगा, right? So it should not be there. So whenever these type of things you are asking for, wherever such type of information is required, the rule in questionnaire design is to avoid any overlap of the evidence. Linking personalities or institutions to issues can also affect the responses. Let's just see in this example. What is wrong with the following wording? It is generally better to have a man at the head of the department composed of both men and women employees. Now, when you say it is generally better to have, you are putting the words in the mouth of the person. That should be nice. And this again is a sensitive thing because you are linking the personalities. So such type of things should not be asked. Questions should be neutral ones. Choice of words may also lead to lead respondents. आप lead question बन जाते हैं. Don't you think that global warming is a serious environment problem? The person will be tended to say yes, of course it is. When you say, would you agree that the government's policies on health are unfair? So आपने पहले ही उसको कह दिया कि agree कर लो इस चीज से. You say, unemployment is increasing, isn't it? Again, you are feeding the answer. Smoking is bad, isn't it? So the question should not be like this. Now, such type of questions, they encourage a particular response because the question indicates that the researcher, that says you expect him to answer like this. So that type of message should not go to the respondent in the wording of the questionnaire. It should be rather say, we think our customers, the question is, we think our customer service representatives are really fantastic. How fantastic do you think our customer service representatives are? आपने पहले ही उनकी तारीफ कर दी. तो दूसरा जब रिस्पोंडेंट होगा, जब when we will start responding, उसको लगेगा कि नहीं इसके साथ कुछ तो एग्री कर लें हम. So don't do like this. अब जो neutral question होगा, that will be, how helpful do you think our customer service representatives are? Now there is no bias in this type of question. So try to frame such questions where such type of errors, such type of pitfalls are not there. And ensure consistent meaning for all respondents. Just see here, how often do you clean your teeth? Frequently, often, infrequently, never. Now, what does this frequently mean? This may be different for different person. Now, what would be the better option here? Yes, anybody? What can be the better option here?
Ma'am, for right,
Yes.
now it should be like how many times, the number of times should be mentioned.
Okay. Okay. Any other? Good attempt. Any other?
Hello, ma'am. Can we
Yes.
see this question like that? Once in a day, twice in a day, or thrice in a day, or before meal, after meal. We can frame
Very
this.
right. Very right. After every meal, 3 times a day, twice a day, it can be frequency can be given rather. That's a better. Twice a day or means after every meal, that would have given you the better results for interpretation. Very rightly said. Thank you to both the centers. So say likewise, I am giving you another question for this. Say, do you exercise regularly? अब जो रेगुलरली नहीं करेगा वो यस नो पर करता है तो वो कहाँ फिट होगा? So this will not fit means take the response right type of response from the respondents. So in such type of instances you may go for how many days per week on average do you exercise? कोई 2 से 3 बार करता है, कोई 3-4 बार करता है, कोई रेगुलरली करता है. If you say how many days per week, कोई 2 to 3 लिख रहा है, कोई जो सब बहुत रेगुलर है वो डेली कह देगा. So वो सब लोग आपके कवर हो जाएंगे इस पे. So that gives a better type of option. And कई बार हम डबल नेगेटिव सेंटेंस में लिख देते हैं, then that again becomes means superfluous, that becomes confusing. Say, it's not the case that I have never cheated on my tax returns. Never should one not help others. Now you see, every time double negative is coming and 2 negatives are the positive. I don't think that this product should not be sold to students. Now, you see, they are unnecessarily confusing the respondent. Rather, in the last case, it would have been better if I say, I think this product should be sold to the students. Right? I think we should help others. It should be written in a positive way rather than making double negative equal to positive. Then there should not be any objectionable type of thing. Have you answered each question truthfully? I think if he is reading and this is the last question, he will just turn your questionnaire and throw. If you don't have faith in me, then why are you asking me? That's a wrong type of thing. Then, how many years of education were you? Now you see the wording, the meaning which it is conveying. How many years of education were you able to complete? Ability पे doubt कर दिया आपने उनकी. So people they will become offensive because why you are asking such type of thing? Then very damaging, very sensitive. Now say your research topic requires a question like this: do you have experienced mental illness? अब कल उस दिन कोई some people were asking about emotions and everything. Now when you make it this type of thing, everybody will say चाहे हुआ भी हो mental illness, right? Even then nobody is going to accept it in writing there. आप चाहे कितना confidential रख लो. Now such type of sensitive things can be written in a better way. Say many people suffer from depression at some point in their lives. Can you relate to any such type of experience with you? Yes or no? Then that person will say that okay, depression में हाँ हल्का सी upset हुए थे. I can write. You may then ask for the frequency also. So such be I would say sensitive to such type of things if your research study requires like that. You have to be very careful in writing selecting the wording of the questions. Avoid. There are certain other things which by and large should be avoided in framing designing questionnaires. Avoid too many technical words, slang, tough vocabulary. That's not required because your purpose is different. Now say you have written, you have designed a questionnaire, and the vocabulary of the questionnaire is so tough, words used are so tough. You may be very good in English, right? You have a good language command, but because of that you have made that, okay, I have made it so the vocabulary is of very high, much higher than the level of that the respondents. What will happen? They know the things, but they will not be able to respond. Either they will skip many questions, or they will not give you the right type of information. So if they are not giving you the right type of person, the very purpose of conducting that survey research will fail. So be careful in using the vocabulary and the typical technical words there. Make the questions clear and concise. Grammatically and spelling mistakes, you check for those things. And nowadays it's very easy because you have so many things in these softwares on the computers itself. Be aware of the cross-cultural differences. If say your survey questionnaire has to go to different states, so be aware that what type the respondents who are included, if they are from different cultures, it should not hurt anybody, because if this type of bias is there, respondent will not like to respond to your questionnaire. And if there are more of the dropouts, you have included a sample of 100 and say 20 significant people drop from there, what will happen? It's not giving you the right type of results later on. To look at the wording of questions in existing reputable surveys. If you go to the websites, there are number of research studies are there, and at times they have given the questionnaires also. So you can just go through and look to the wording used by in different surveys. Now, once this is done, now questions are there with you. Now you have to sequence those questions while putting them in the final questionnaire. So you are to observe certain things. First is early questions. You know that they set the mindset of the respondent to the later questions, right? They give it a type of directions. So be very careful for selecting the early questions. Always start with the non-threatening factual type of question, so that the person feels easy in answering. And once the repo type of thing is established, then you slowly turn to the sensitive and other types of questions also. So nominal data, age, group, occupation, one is feel easy in sharing those things. So just ask such type of things in the beginning if you require them. Then move to the closed questions. For example, dichotomous, yes, no questions are there, multiple choice are there. In the multiple choice, you have given certain choice. Person doesn't have to put in much effort in thinking, so he just goes on ticking. Now through this, he is making just a rapport with the things that, okay, I have to answer such type of things. Then come to the rating scales, and finally ranking. And after that, you may go for the sensitive type of questions towards the end. Then the open-ended questions should also come at the end only. Try to keep the survey short so that participants complete them. Otherwise, they will miss number of questions and they may not complete your questionnaire also. So your effort will be wasted then. Then when I was just listing the steps for designing a questionnaire, I had written writing instructions. Now, while writing instructions, you should take care of certain things, like your questionnaire should include purpose, why you are conducting the survey. 10, how to answer items. Whether responses are anonymous or not. This again is very important because confidentiality matters a lot. Write in the directions that you can say that your answers will be kept confidential and will be used only for the research purposes. So you feel free to respond what you feel about a situation. Answer all items. Right in the beginning, request them to answer all items, because if they miss number of questions, Of course, there are softwares where they take into account the missed data also, but still, if the questionnaires are complete, they give the better picture for the research results. Then easy to understand, we have mentioned about it. Like questions, the instructions should also be in very simple and understandable language only, and it should be brief. Otherwise, nobody is going to see the long paragraphs for the instructions. And with thank you, this is very important because the person has spared time to respond to your questionnaire. So take care of these things in the designing of the questionnaire. Then there are certain instrument concerns. I started with these aspects right in my first slide itself, that whenever you are selecting your instruments, they should give you the validity. Means, does the instrument measure what it is supposed to measure? And this is equally true for the questionnaire which you have designed. Then is the reliability. Does the instrument consistently yield the same results? Now, in questionnaire designing, we are concerned with the content and face validity. In the instructions, you have written that purpose. Now, on face, questions should be like that they should look that, okay, this is the purpose and this goes with this question. Then is the content. Content means, say you have list of number of criterion questions or objectives with you. Are there sufficient questions for each of the objective that it is that they are reflected in they are included in the questionnaire or not? You have to take care of this aspect. Now, so face these validity says, does the instrument really measure what it is supposed to measure? If your content validity is there, it means it is really measuring what you intended to measure. Content validity, there is no statistical tool for it. Remember this thing. This, when you have first of all made a rough type of questionnaire, the first draft type of questionnaire is there. You are to give that questionnaire the objectives and the questionnaire items, the full questionnaire, to some panel of experts who are of that area, and ask them to see whether the two things go side by side, whether the all research objectives, research questions, they are items related to that, those things are included in the questionnaires, and that too in the sufficient number, they are really representing them. So they will be taking care of that. Then you have to take, you can also take some students also, say respondent, the respondents also, on whom you are going to actually administer the questionnaire. But here the limited number of persons you are taking, those should not be the same which you are going to take in the final sample. But the level of those people should be the same. They will also give you some feedback, and you are to take care of this thing right in the beginning there itself. If there are some suggestions are coming, then you are to incorporate those things in your questionnaire. There may be certain wording is not of their level. There may be you have made it more technical. There may be some double barrel questions are there. Likewise, they can give you the feedback. Once everything is done, then we pilot test the questionnaire. Now, for this again, we use a group of respondents who are drawn from the possible sample, but again, they will not receive the final questionnaire, right? They are not included in the final sample. Why we go for pilot testing the questionnaire? The reason is we gain feedback on validity of the questionnaire, because we are not applying any statistical techniques on that. This is the only way that you become sure that your questionnaire is giving you the valid results. Check whether questionnaire is too long or too short, too easy or too difficult. You are to take care in this type of thing will come out when you are pilot testing your questionnaire. Identify commonly misunderstood or non-completed items. You will see when you are pilot testing them, you may come across certain questions which are misunderstood. Now, if say you have given it to 10 people and out of 10, 8 have responded in a way that was not, you were not thinking that it should come in that way. And it means you might observe there that there is some misinterpretation of what you have written. In that case, you can clarify with them, and then if it is misinterpreted really, then you are to change the wording of that question. Then use several items to measure a specific concept that we have taken. Ensure data acquired will answer the research questions. Means you are to now judge your questionnaire on the basis of the pilot testing. That okay, really sufficient items were there, right? Ask when you are doing it. You also see that there are more of closed questions than the open questions. Avoid splitting an item over more than one page. You should not do that. Half of the question is coming on one page and half part of that particular question is coming on the next page. Avoid to do like this. Then when we come to the data collection, as earlier I said, I won't go much on that. It can be mailed or the researcher can do by himself or herself, or it may be mailed also, right? Any technique can be applied for this. Now in mailing questionnaire, there may be a problem of low rate of return, and this generally happens, and there will be more skipping of some questions because you are not there. The questionnaire, the respondent feels okay, this I am not able to understand, okay, this is not good, okay, leave it. So then you will have questions, number of questionnaires returned are more, but the really which you can incorporate in your research study, they may be very less. And otherwise also when you are mailing, the return rate is quite low. So always if you are mailing the questionnaire, then take care that you send to much more number of people, maybe 20% or 10% more number of respondents, so that even if it is a dropout is there, even then you have enough number. So this was all about the designing of the questionnaire. If you have any questions, you are most welcome. From any center, if any question is there.